So a question that comes up all the time, and a comment that I hear clients, family, friends say about, eating and drinking around the holidays or really any time is, I don't want to be rude. Or what do I do? Someone serves me this food and I have to eat it because I don't want to be rude. And I have so many thoughts on this, but I figured that I would share some with you guys in case they're helpful and maybe just offer a little bit of a different perspective. So the first thing that I would say is I encourage you to check in with yourself and make sure that we're not using this as a reason to have to eat foods that we truly want to, but don't want to take ownership for eating. Like, we're not using it as an excuse and that we actually really don't want to eat or drink the thing, but kind of feel like we're being rude if we don't. So check in with yourself. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is, if this was for like a true health condition reason, like say you had an allergy or you were pregnant and they were offering you, an alcoholic drink or whatever it is, it would be a non-negotiable. It would be an absolute no, and we would not be concerned about how other people may feel if we turn something down. So I would also encourage you to check in with how solid are you in your decision and your commitment and your confidence for your decision to not have this thing. Because if we're looking for someone else to validate that, we're not going to get it, number one. And number two, it's going to be a whole lot harder to carry through with it when situations like this happen and you feel like, you may be rude or whatever it may be, or hurt someone's feelings or upset someone if we turn it down. The next thing that I would say is, we are not responsible for other people's feelings. They are. Our feelings and our emotions are caused by our own thinking. So we are just not that powerful in other people's lives, even though a lot of the times we think that we are. So we can turn down a food, we can accept a food, and somebody's going to have a thought about it and a feeling about it regardless. So we can try to control other people's emotions by eating and drinking all the things that they serve us. And it may or may not work. They may or may not be happy or content with that. They may then want you to have more, or want you to do this thing, or want you to go to this place. Have you ever had a friend or a boyfriend or significant other that you felt like you had to do 1,000,001 things to make them happy and then they still weren't happy? That's because we truly do not create other people's feelings or emotions. They do with their thinking. Yes, things that other people do could trigger certain thoughts that could influence that. However, we are not ultimately responsible, and we cannot control them. So we are better off taking back our power for our own lives, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, and our results. I encourage you to question, do you want to make yourself uncomfortable so someone else doesn't have to be? Do you want to not make them feel like you're being rude, so then you can be rude to yourself because you're eating or drinking, putting something in your body that you don't want to, so someone else can feel better? And I certainly don't like that. And I would encourage you to question, do you like your reason for taking that thing and consuming it? And if you do, totally fine, then do it. And of course you have your own decision to make, but these are just my thoughts on it. And I hope they were somewhat helpful.